Greetings and salutations out there, Ryan here at Triathlon.com, and we are going to talk about IRONMAN Texas because that is coming up really soon, and I want to do my own little first timers briefing. I've done this as a part of Ironman coaching team. I'm not a direct Ironman employee, but I've been there and volunteered and assisted with the briefings for the first timers, answering questions for anybody that's doing. I've done in Chattanooga, I've done in Florida, a couple of the races. So I'm going to do this video for IRONMAN Texas to help you guys out. So hopefully this kind of gets you some good directions. And if you got any questions, like I'm doing this live, I can see the comments in here. If you got any questions later, put in the comments, even Facebook, you see it there, YouTube, anything like that. Just let me know if you got any questions. I can help you out. So with that, we are about a month out. Race is April 23rd, 2022. The time of this recording, we are in March of 2022. Still a little chilly here in Kansas City, where I'm from. Texas is probably a little bit warmer, but I know they're doing some storms and stuff right now, so it's going to be interesting, to say the least. So hopefully we're going to cross fingers the weather's looking good and everything. But specifically, I want to talk about the first timers. You're out there doing Ironman Texas. You see in the background here, I got the Ironman Texas website going on, and I'm going to go through the different disciplines, the swim, bike, and the run, and kind of give you some tips and pointers. I did the race in 2014. Unfortunately, succumbed to cramping, severe cramping on mile 14 of the run. Went to the med tit, had to get IV fluids, and I was done for the day. But since then, I've done several more Ironman races and learned my lesson as far as hydration and nutrition goes. Things that I think I can help you with. This was my second Ironman attempt after Ironman Lake Tahoe in 2013. Did this in 2014. Thought I knew everything I needed to know, and unfortunately, I didn't. So here we go. We're going to jump right into it. So when you're doing the swim, pull this up and make sure you can see it on the screen there. So the swim is in Lake Woodlands, and it is pretty still body of water. There's really no currents to it. I'd call it maybe a little bit swampish. It's going to be murky. You're not going to be able to see the bottom of the water. It's pretty green. But I would recommend getting in the practice swim if you can, to kind of get in there and get used to the water, especially if you spending most of your time indoors swim training, where you got that nice line on the bottom of the floor. You can follow it and do your laps. This is going to be a little bit different. You can't push off the walls. You can't take breaths off the walls. You can't take breaks. Usually what they'll have a bunch of kayaks there, so if you got any problems like that, you can grab a kayak. As long as you're not moving forward, they'll let you do that and continue the race. But the key is going to be make sure that you're comfortable just swimming, find that right pace and swim and sight, and make sure you stay on course, because the one thing that caught me was coming here in this back end, you see here on the screen, is at some point I started sighting the wrong side. And when I did 2014, I think the buoys are the same color on both sides. So this is a little bit nice. You're sighting yellow going out, turn red, sighting orange, coming back in all the way to the finish. So keep that in mind. Yellow on the way out, orange on the way back. Don't sight the other side and swim across this lane, because they'll call you out and then they'll send you back to the right area. So don't do that, because it takes a lot of time off your swim. Unfortunately, it kind of caught me. This was one of my better swims. It was wetsuit legal when I did it. I'd imagine it's going to be wetsuit legal. I mean, we look back at the website, average air temperature is 72 degrees. With the average water temperature 82 degrees here on the website, but if it's 72 and you're coming into the spring, let's cross our fingers and maybe get wetsuit legal. Hopefully, at least wetsuit optional. So if you're kind of uneasy about the open water swimming, wetsuits, full wetsuits definitely help. They help you buoyancy and keep you afloat, and can add a little bit of that confidence factor that you need to do the swim. So definitely bring a wetsuit, but sighting is going to be key. So make sure that you're comfortable swimming straight as possible, and you're also comfortable sighting for buoys, because that will be the key, is not going swimming around, waving off course, and adding extra mileage and extra time. So really, you shouldn't feel too uncomfortable. I mean, it is an open water body of water. It is a little bit deep, but there's going to be kayaks everywhere. There's going to be life safety everywhere. There's boats that you can grab onto and say, hey, I just need a break or whatever, and then keep on swimming. So don't get too worked up about that. But I think that's the key, is sighting. And the other key is to make sure that if you're not comfortable from water, bring a wetsuit and have that as an option. So that's going to be your key, especially when you come out here at the finish line. You're going to swim in, and it's going to be a big ladder system. So when you get in there, just take a minute. Don't rush in, and don't sprint up the steps or anything. A, you don't want to trip. B, Once you've been prone for an extended period of time and then you stand upright, the blood kind of rushes out and goes down, from your head where it was kind of level with your body. Now it's all going down to your body, to your legs. You're going to get a little bit lightheaded, so don't do anything crazy like stand up too fast and pass out, because that is not fun. I've seen it happen, and it's not very good. So when you come into the transition, know where you're going, know where your bags are at, and be focused on the plan of action. Don't get all worked up about the race. Don't get caught up in other people running around with their heads cut off. Make sure you know your gear and you get all your gear that you need for that bike ride. You get situated and set up correctly, because anytime you think you're going to save in transition, you're going to give up when you're fidgeting with stuff on the bike, or you forgot something, or you're stressing out about something. So take your time in transition. Don't camp out in there. Don't take 15, 20 minutes, but a good 6, 7 minutes should give you plenty of time. Grab your bag, get your stuff, transition out of it, and get your bike and get out on the bike course. The bike course, you can see here, it is an out and back, a little bit of a U-turn here. So when you're doing this, the key is going to be, if it gets windy at all, make sure you're comfortable in aero, because as you can see, there's a couple of turns in here and there's U-turns, but other than that, there's not that many turns on this bike course, and it's pretty straight. So the aero position is going to be the key factor in this. Just staying in aero, be okay with the fact that your speed may be a little bit lower than usual, because at any point in time there could be a nice steady wind, 10 to 15 miles an hour, that's not really gusting or anything. It's just constant wind, constant breeze that's going to keep you going one way or the other. If you're going north or south, the chances are you're going to hit a headwind going one direction or the other. It is Texas, and it is usually got a little bit of a breeze going on, so just be prepared for that. And definitely sunscreen, especially if you've been training indoors over the winter. You may not be used to going outside, and you may be pretty pasty. For us pastier people, so if you're not sunscreened up, you could get sunburnt in a hurry, and it is not very fun on the run course when you're sunburnt trying to go through. So make sure that you've got sunscreen, and make sure that you're in an aero position as much as possible and you're comfortable in that position. And just be patient, hydrate, get nutrition, and make sure that you're set up. That's going to be the other keys, is don't forget about your hydration, don't forget about your nutrition, because for me personally, I've kind of spaced out the hydration portion of it. Even though it was in the 80s, it wasn't extremely hot when I did it, but it paid, if you come into the transition more than 3% dehydrated, you're going to have a tough time out there on the run course. So that's going to be the keys there in your bike course. When you hit the run, it's going to be 3 loops. You should be pretty used to it. It's nothing extravagant. It's nothing super hilly or crazy. Good old 500 feet of elevation gain, but you're going through this areas 3 different times. So don't come out of T2 burning it up and coming out for speed. You'll have plenty of time to make it up on that 3rd loop if you're feeling all the energy and everything like that, and the temperatures have gone down and everything like that. Just take your time, hydrate, nutrition, especially in those first 2 loops. The 2nd loop is where I kind of hit the wall and hit an aid station and just went all downhill from there. Leaned over to tie my shoes, sat down on a bench. Big mistake. I ended up getting cramps and had to stop for a little bit, and never could get the cramps to go away. So they had to take me to an aid station. But that is going to be key. Hydrate, nutrition. Take your time. There's going to be plenty of time for that run to on the 3rd loop to get your speed. If you think you have anything left and you want to go through and you want to run as hard as you can and try to get that finish line. But consistency is going to be key in this course, because it is kind of one of the more flat courses. In the bike course, you've got about 1,200 feet of elevation gain, which is pretty sparse for 112 miles on a bike, and then 500 feet for 26.2 miles. It's going to be relatively flat, and it may give you a false sense of security that you can go out there and hammer it. But you got to make sure, especially if it gets a little bit warmer and you're not used to it. If you're not training in your basement during the winter, you're not going to be used to the temperatures they could possibly get up to. So make sure you're cranking up that heat when you're doing your bike rides and runs. Try to get out when it's warmer, and just get used to that acclimation to the heat and possible humidity. If you're up north, down in Houston, it's going to be humid. So just be ready for that. So I think the key is to keep moving. That's why I always tell people, even if you have to walk on that run course, don't let any of the spectators give you a hard time about, oh, you got to run the whole thing. You're not really racing. It's like, who cares? Your goal is to get to the finish line. If you have to walk to do that, then you walk. Walk the aid stations. Get your nutrition. Get your hydration. You're feeling lightheaded. maybe you need hydration, maybe you need some nutrition or something like that. So do a check, walk if you need to, do the bike ride, be consistent on that, give yourself plenty of time in the back end of the run. Don't hammer it at any point. If you got to hammer it, save it for the last 13 miles of the run, because that's where the race really happens at, is when the struggle bus really hits. You're really depleted, your energy's low, your nutrition's low, your hydration's low. That's going to be the key point in the race. It's not going to be that first 50 miles on a bike ride going out and hammer it, trying to keep an average of 20 miles per hour. That is going to tank the rest of your race day. So make sure you're spending your energy at the right points. So keep moving. Be smart about hydration, nutrition. Sunscreen might be a key factor for this one. If it's a sunny day out there, you get burnt pretty quick if you're not used to being outdoors in the sun and you've got kind of a base tan going on. And the other one is just respect the course. I didn't respect the course when I came out there. It's a formidable course, even though the elevation's not that good or not that great. But the bike course, if there's a wind out there, it'll take it out of you. Like I said, the run, if it's a little bit warmer, that hydration and nutrition will play a key factor in it. So those are kind of my base tips for the first timer out there doing Ironman Texas. Hydration, nutrition, I keep hammering in. I think I've said it 20 times by now. There on the bike, on the run course, make sure that you're pacing yourself well and you're hydrating and getting your nutrition. And don't let the spectators, especially when you're running along the waterway pass system here, you're going to see a lot of spectators. There's restaurants that back up to the paths. Don't let them peer pressure you into trying to run when you're not ready to run, trying to put in extra energy when you're not ready to. Or perhaps you take a little bit easy here on the back runs or back roads, and you come through the neighborhoods, you start to realize here's where the people are at. It gives you a little bit of an energy boost, so maybe you use that to your advantage to get through there before you come through and do the next loop. So just be wise about that. And pay attention to where these special needs are. Usually they have it in North Shore Park here for the run. The bike map, trying to find out where endurance station, U-turn special needs, looks like it is right here. So at the 60-mile mark, you get your special needs bag on the bike. Make sure you pay attention to that. If you need kind of special anything in there, I like to put a nice Mountain Dew in there and put some ice in there to keep it cold through the day. So it's a nice refresher and a little bit of sugar kick, a little bit of caffeine to keep me going. So make sure you know where the special needs are at. That could be kind of your saving grace. Put things in there you think you may need. Just realize you're never going to get them back. So if you don't use them, they're gone. If you use them once, they're done. You can't come back and keep using it over and over. So keep that in mind. With that, that's kind of my tips for the first timers out there. Just keep one foot in front of the other, one pedal stroke after the other, and just keep plowing on. Don't get wrapped up around times or anything like that. Just keep moving. You never know when you think you're not going to make a cutoff, but somehow you find that energy, you found that spark. You hit the aid station, you got some Red Bull or something like that, you can hit that next time cutoff if you're worried about that or anything like that. So hopefully this helps you out. Put a lot of information out there. If you need to rewind it, watch it again, do so. Like I said, if you got any questions, put it in the comments. If you're seeing it on Facebook, put it on YouTube. See it on Facebook. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. See it on YouTube, give me a like as well. Hit subscribe to see future videos on the course. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything, put them in the comments. I'll review them. I like to answer them. I like to put anything else in there that will help you guys out. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. Happy training out there and good luck on race day. We'll see you out there.